Welcome back, Shalloners. Well, the holidays are upon us, as you can see. Yes, I got a tree that's 9 feet tall and 4 feet wide for my studio apartment. I have a problem. But going home and being with your family, if you're not married or don't have kids, usually means something along the lines of, when are you getting married? When are you finding a boyfriend? Can't you find a nice Jewish boy, Catholic boy, Baptist boy, Swahili boy, Taoist boy, Hindu boy, whatever kind of boy your parents are into, right? And this, as we know, is not just a holiday-centric thing. It's obviously worse around the holidays because you go home, you see relatives maybe you don't see a lot, like Aunt Helen, who's like, you're single? Oh, it'll happen for you. Do you know how many times I heard that? It'll happen. Oh, you know what's happening? My life is happening. My 2 book deals are happening. My TV show's happening. My job as an editor is happening. My YouTube channel. Like, more things are happening than someone putting their penis inside me and calling me their girlfriend on a regular basis. I actually have more value than that. Weird. But it's taken me a while to get to this place where I'm kind of like bulletproof about the whole single talk. For you guys who might be dealing with this kind of like for the first time, or you know what, I guarantee you've heard it a bunch. It's really annoying. It's disheartening. It's hurtful. It's just maddening. So today I want to talk about how to deal with your family nagging you about being single. But before we get into it, I want to remind you guys to find me on the Instant Go app. My username is ShallonXO and click chat. That's if you have any personal questions or you want to talk. Please don't DM me. Just please don't do that. Or if you don't have Instant Go quite yet in your country, I know it's not absolutely everywhere around the world, leave your question right here on this video in the comment section for the best chance of it getting answered. All right, so you're going home, you're sitting at the dinner table, people are like, so Kristen, when are you gonna settle down? Let's unpack it. First of all, it's important to understand people's motivation when they say things like this. I remember when I was married, briefly, it was like month number 2 that people were like, so are you guys gonna have kids? And I was like, I'm still unpacking shit from the wedding, like pump the brakes. And I realized though, people were just saying that because they were awkward and they didn't know what else to say. You know what I mean? And because I found myself saying that to someone who was married. I was like, so you guys thinking about kids? And she's like, I don't know. And it was obvious that like 1 million people had asked her. And I was like, I don't even care. I'm sorry. Like, why would I ask you that? Who cares? She's like, I don't know. So sometimes it's people just making conversation in kind of a clumsy way. But if it's not, if this is the shit you hear, if this is the pervasive message you get from your family or your mom's best friend or whoever, again, try to understand where they're coming from. If your parents immigrated to this country, if you're like first generation, it makes more sense to me that they are focusing on marriage as kind of like an anchor for you. It's another income. It's a man around the house to like protect you if the Gestapo kicks the door down. You know, like they have had experiences that you might think you know, but you don't. We can't ever know the full experiences of our parents and the full filter through which they see the world. So try to like look at what they're saying through a little lens of empathy. You know, like what do they see marriage meaning for my life? Is it stability? Is it financial, independence? Here's another thing. I think when something happens over and over in our life, we have a responsibility to examine our role in it. So if your parents are constantly like, when are you getting married? When are you doing this? Is that because right now you're their responsibility? I had a girl message me and she's like, my parents are hassling me about getting married, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, tell them that, focus them on what you're focused on. Are you studying for the LSATs? Are you opening your own business? Are you writing a book? Are you interning 5 days a week and waitressing on the weekends? Help them see what you're doing with your time that's more important than like dating. And I was like, so what do you do with your time? Well, I want to be an influencer maybe one day. And I really want to go to Coachella and like, I'm thinking of doing a podcast on the Gilmore Girls. I was like, oh, okay. So you're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. You have no goals. I'm not surprised they want to marry you off because who are you probably feeding off now? Them. Are you on the family cell phone plan? Do you live at home? Does your dad change the oil in your car? No shit, he wants you to find a husband. He's done with this role. You're an adult. And like you kind of can't blame them. So your parents might be looking at you not like, almost like, if she is capable of more, she's not going to do more. So marriage and sort of like making her someone else's like problem and responsibility might be the only option in my daughter's life. That's sad. Don't you think that's sad? I do. And you know who can control that? You can. Set some goddamn goals for yourself. You're not starting a podcast or becoming an influencer. I have 50 something thousand followers. I'm trying to become an influencer. It's fucking hard, okay? I don't recommend it. If you can say, Dad, here's my schedule for the day. I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I grab a sad sandwich, I study for the LSAT for 6 hours, I walk Riley around the block, I come back, I go to sleep, I wake up and do it again. Where would you like me to fit in a boyfriend? Do you want me to stop studying for the LSATs? I can give away my dog. How about I quit my job and you can pay my bills? If you can sort of make them a partner in your life and your goals, they won't see a man as being the thing that's going to come and save you, because they will acknowledge you are saving yourself, right? Now, what if they know that? What if they know that you're studying? What if they know that you're working hard? What if they just kind of don't care? And they sort of maybe don't care if you become a lawyer. Like, that's weird to them. Like, you can, but don't you want to get married and have babies? This is, again, the whole seeing the world through their filter. I'm sure your parents are wonderful people, loving, they want the best for you, but sometimes they're limited. This is not a them, this is a human thing. Humans are limited by their thinking and by their experiences. And maybe your mom or your dad grew up with parents who said, you know what? You're never going to get out of this town. You're never going to go to college. You need to marry the first boy who's into you. And you can't have sex before marriage. So if he knocks you up, you're marrying him. Like, maybe that was the message they got. And this is generational rhetoric that they're passing down to you. Breaking the cycle of family rhetoric is the hardest thing you are going to have to attempt in your life. It is so hard. It is so hard. It is so hard because it's not always this up front. It's not always a thing at a table that's like said. It could just be this pervasive idea that like, well, we're middle class and that's never going to change. No, maybe in your heart, you know you're destined to have this great idea and be rich. Maybe it's, well, we're always going to be fat, so why not have another slice? That's not what you choose for yourself. And it's hard to take a step back and be like, how much of this is reality? You know, and how much of this is the messages I've just kind of been inundated with that they were probably inundated with, and their mama and their mama and their mama. You know, it goes deep, deep, deep. And if your parents kind of aren't interested in you pursuing goals outside of marriage and birth, that sucks for them. It definitely sucks for you because it's hurtful and it's confusing and it's like, it's belittling. It's like, I'm worth more, you know, I can do more. And I'm sorry you think my only chance is to marry a guy who's going to end up junior managing a Walmart. But it's not. I have bigger dreams than that. And I have realized on the path to greatness and on the path to setting your goals, and setting the goals is the hardest part because you really have to step outside of everything you might have been taught, the voices around you that say it's never going to happen. And you have to be like, no, I'm moving to Chicago and I'm running a restaurant and this is what I'm doing with my life. You have to set that intention and not everyone can come with you on that journey. I mean, in the macro, you're not going to cut your parents off, maybe, but like they might not be the people you talk to every single day. And maybe you don't go home for every Thanksgiving. And that is hard, hard, hard. It's the hardest thing. It's the hardest thing in life to realize maybe the people who raised you kind of don't know what's best for you. You know, in that sense, maybe they don't see those seeds inside of you that need to grow and flourish into larger dreams and goals and achievements. It's hard. That doesn't mean they don't love you. They just love you in a different way and they see the world and they see success and happiness in a different way. We all define it differently, you know? I live in New York City. I live in my house is like the size of a glorified hotel suite. And to some people, you know, I went to school with, it's like, what is her life? They live in big houses. Some of them have more than one house. big SUVs and kids. And I'm like, that's great. That's not my personal definition of happiness. That's great if it's yours, and maybe one day that will be. But for now, this living in this city and doing what I do is my definition. And that was a bold step that I had to take. That was hard for me to declare that, like, I don't want to be like everyone else that I know that I went to college or high school with. I want to do something a little bit different. But it's all love, separate but equal. Separate but equal. That was a phrase that they used to, like, oppress Black people in the civil rights era. Never mind that. Okay, but how about this? Say your parents are nagging you about being single, and you agree. You actually really do want a boyfriend. You really do want a husband. Like, this is the goal that you're chasing too. I get that. Who wants to be alone? It sucks sometimes. So what do you say when it's like, yeah, mom, I'm trying? That I remember, like, saying that. It's like, don't you think I want this too? Like, it's like someone calling you fat. You should go on a diet. It's like, I am on a diet. Pull your mom aside. Don't do it at the dinner table, and just be like, I'm feeling really sensitive about my love life, and, like, I love every other aspect of my life. But, it's hard dating in our hometown, a big city, my college campus, London, whatever. It's hard. And please just don't bring it up. Like, it's hurtful to me. Like, you wouldn't like it if I teased you about X, how little money they have, how fat she's getting, how dad's running around with his secretary. We all have a weak spot, okay? That we don't want someone to poke at. Certainly not in, like, a public Thanksgiving dinner, right? So take her aside, like, woman to woman, be like, I'm really feeling sensitive about this. So please, please don't bring it up. Like, you don't need to. We're on the same page here. I would like to find someone. You would like me to find someone. Needling me about it makes me not want to talk to you about it. And I want to be able to talk to you because you're my best friend. You're my mom. And you have the best advice, and you have the best stories, and you have the best wisdom. That might not be true, but, you have to, like, play along on this. The ends justifies the means. I want to be able to talk to you about this stuff, but when you needle me about it, it makes me retreat because it hurts my feelings. It makes me feel like a failure, like you're not proud of me. And, like, I already feel kind of like that looking at this aspect of my life, because I look around, I see my friends are married and they make it look so easy. Why is it so hard for me to find somebody? And then if they still poke you about it, you know what I say? People choose their behaviors and they choose their consequences, right? We can't change what we don't acknowledge. So if you help someone acknowledge, hey, X behavior has Y effect on me, and they continue to do it, then you can only assume it's deliberate, and it's deliberately cruel in a way. I do not suborn deliberate cruelty. Cheat on me, we can work it out. Throw a chair through a plate glass window, maybe we can speak about this. You want to be deliberately cruel to me after I tell you something hurts my feelings, you keep doing it? Cut. I don't care who you are. And I've made that clear to people in my family. It's like, I've told you how this hurts me, and the fact that you keep doing it is unacceptable. So we can redefine the nature of this association. And so it might be that you have to take a step back from your family. Your peace of mind has to be the priority. Has to be. If you're in a spiral in your mind, what can you get done in life? Nothing. You're going to make bad choices. You're going to make bad food choices. You're going to make bad, like, alcohol choices. You're going to stay out too late. You're going to take jobs for the wrong reasons. Like, you're going to keep the wrong people in your life. You need to have that calmness and that peace. And that's not to say that that means you don't have sadness and emotional turmoil. But you need to know I'm making the right decisions to fortify the borders of my life because I need to stay safe inside my mind, right? It might be sad inside of here, but it's safe. No one else is coming to attack me because I'm keeping people at a distance because they've proven they can't be trusted. This is hard. I know we're getting deep, but this is hard. And this is like everything with your family relates to something deeper, And so it's up to you to kind of like see what that is. So overall, try to see things from your parents' point of view. Are they viewing, what does marriage mean to them? And think about ways you can combat that. What can you say to them? Like, Mom, I am financially stable. I am physically okay. Like, I have a good group of friends. I'm not lonely. I'm not directionless. Like, the clock isn't ticking for me. I'm fine adopting a baby if I have to, if their filter does not align with yours, and if they can't sort of be pacified with logic and stuff like that and see your goals, you might have to take a step back. Same with if they're needling you from their own sort of spiteful place. You know what I hear a lot is mothers and daughters have a very adversarial relationship naturally. If you believe Freud's theory, it's because they're both competing for the same valuable resource, which is time with dad. Not just time, protection, providing. You know, like dad, the male is the protector. He goes out and builds a fire and kills the wildebeest. And, you know, you need dad to be on your side to survive. And so the mother and the daughter naturally butt heads. Same with like the husband and the son. It's natural. So she could, where was I going? So your mom could be seeing like, where was I going with this? I'm sure it was brilliant. Your own filter. I guess like your mom could be seeing things through her filter, which is she was never empowered to do better. And so she kind of doesn't want you to do better. Jealousy, that's where I was going. Women are jealous of each other, you know, and moms are jealous of daughters. And she might see you doing all the things she never got to do. Living in a city, sleeping around, not shaving your armpits, wearing unattractive high-waisted jeans. Please stop doing that. So she might kind of want to, and it might not even be conscious. Stuff like this, it's not like, haha, I'm going to my big whiteboard of plans to destroy my daughter. It's just, it's knee-jerk reactions, you know? And that's on them that they aren't a little bit more self-aware. But she might kind of want to keep you down. When people's egos are threatened, they do something called leveling. They either puff themselves up or they cut the other person down so that they're at their level, you know? And that might be what your parents are doing. They might not like the fact that you're uppity and out there living your own life and you don't feel the need to sit through a 2-hour Catholic mass every goddamn Sunday or, you know, shave your head and wear a wig like everyone else in the Orthodox community. They probably don't like that because they don't like having to do it. So why should you get to? Even though you're their child, you know, it's a whole twisty thing. If this is really an issue in your life, see a therapist. A therapist, it's like, they're almost like an architect who gets the blueprints from the city to look at your house. And they're like, oh, here's the support beam, here's the pipeline, here's the this, here's the that. And you're like, I never would have been able to see that. They make connections and see things in your life that you just like are blind to. And we all have that, you know, it's human nature. And just being able to see like, okay, that's when my mom says that because her mom did X to her. And you think like, okay, well, what will knowing that do? Fucking cares. Honestly, it does a lot. No lie. Just knowing that, like the knots loosen. I don't know why. Maybe it's because you realize like, these aren't like, this isn't about me. You know, there are things at play that have nothing to do with me. And so it doesn't feel so pointed. It doesn't feel so hurtful and like, it doesn't feel so intentional. And when we can see our parents as sort of like the victims of their own circumstance, we humanize them. They're not like mom and dad. They're like Bill and Kathy. And Bill and Kathy have seen some shit, just like I've seen some shit, you know? And you can kind of forgive their behavior a little bit and you can look at them with empathy. And when we start to look at people with empathy and deal with them in that way, we find common ground, right? So always approach family stuff with empathy. How can I see this from her point of view? What is she thinking? What is she feeling? And you know what? Your parents might just be irrational. They're out there. Your mom could be bipolar. Your dad could be a meth addict. Your sister could have borderline personality disorder. They could just be a mess. But a therapist will also kind of help you figure that out. You know, what's normal versus what's toxic in a disorder. And then you can decide, how involved do I want to be? What is healthy for me? Where does that border, where does that castle wall lie? How deep inside that castle do I need to go to feel safe? We got deep today, right? We started talking about turkey and Thanksgiving and family and holiday, and we went here. So, guys, if you have any kind of question, find me on the Instant Go app. And my username is ShallonXO. And like I said, if you don't have Instant Go, please leave your question or comment right here in the comments section. And for the best chance of getting answered. And if you guys have more family stuff, also leave your video suggestions. I'm always open to hearing it. Family is just like an endless topic, right? Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Valentine's Day, Happy Easter, Happy Arbor Day, Flag Day, and 4th of July. Talk to you guys soon.